Hi, guys. I am here with Vic Gonzalez. Motorcycles, fast cars, rock and roll, and we're going to chat about all that. All right. I love this video. It's awesome.
Oh, thank you.
I love this music. It's crazy. It's so good. Please introduce yourself. Victor Gonzalez is here, and he's accomplished so much. I literally don't even know where to start, but I do want to start with your band because I think it's phenomenal. Like I miss these days with this music. I just love it. So introduce yourself first. Who are you, Vic?
I am Victor Gonzalez, but I go by Vic.
Awesome. And I was just playing your wonderful band. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
My band Ominous. We were together from 2002 until 2016, 15, and we had 3 albums, a bunch of different EPs. We got traveled the country, Puerto Rico, magazines, radio airplay, radio interviews. We did it all in a short period of time. Within 6 months of us being together as a band, we got signed to our first record deal within 6 months.
Wow, that is amazing. I mean, it really is brilliant. It really is brilliant. I mean, it's just wonderful. How did you pick that title?
I actually saw when we were looking for a name for a band, we wanted to have something that wasn't the typical heavy metal name, craziness. So I was watching TV and I saw the trailer for Final Destination 2, I believe it was.
Oh.
And in one of the scenes, the girl says, "Have you ever seen anything creepy or ominous?" And I heard that, I was like, wow, that's pretty cool. And I looked to see if there was any bands out there with that name. There wasn't, and that's how we got Ominous, from a trailer from a movie.
I love it. I love it. I want to play a little bit of this. I love this video. It's just amazing. So I have so many questions for you. I mean, I want to play the whole thing, but I don't want YouTube to shut us down, even though it is you.
Yeah.
It could happen. You never know. But so you are playing electric guitar.
Yes.
And you're also singing. How did you learn how to play the electric guitar? I'm always fascinated, like when people started, how much did you practice?
I was 7 years old. And yeah, I was 7 years old. This was back in 82. And I always wanted a drum set. I actually wanted to be a drummer. And I would always be around the house with, tapping this, tapping that. And I told my dad, "Hey, I want a drum set. I want a drum set." He was like, "No, because the drum going to kick us out of our apartment. If you want to play anything, we'll go to the store and pick out a guitar or something, or a trumpet." And I was like, but I don't want that. I want a drum set, because I thought the drums were like the coolest thing ever. So when we go into the store, which was in my my hometown, not too far away, it was called Sounds of Music. I'll never forget it. And we go in there, and I'm looking at all the guitars, and the first time I've ever seen a guitar.
Yeah.
And when I strummed the strings as I was walking by, I was like, oh wow, that's kind of cool. And that was it. My dad had gotten it was a really small, easy little guitar with an amplifier for $80. The combo.
Oh, you just got cut out for a second, but you're back. That's amazing. I just love it. So that was your first guitar at such a young age. It's so interesting that you knew that you wanted to do music, you
Yeah,
know.
I was a big always into MTV. Back in the day, it was like MTV. So I saw all these bands like Motley Crue, Poison, all hair metal bands, and I was like, oh, I want to do that, but I always wanted to be the drummer. Never thought about singing. Never thought about playing guitar, but I don't know. The calling was definitely there for guitar because I
And
started.
guitars, I mean, every instrument has its challenge, but I feel, I feel like the guitar specifically needs like really dexterity in a way that, like you don't need with the drums. You know
Mm,
what I mean? Like trust me, I have respect for any instrument and all of them, but I have two boys. I think you have two boys as well, right?
I do.
Yeah. So they play all instruments, and I watch them play piano and drums and all this stuff. But when it comes to the guitar, having to coordinate with those strings so tight and there's moving, and doing two different things, I think it's brilliant. It's just brilliant. And how did you get into the electric guitar? Because the first one wasn't electric, was it? At 7?
It was a real it was a small no name brand electric guitar,
Oh,
and
wow.
with a little tiny amp. And I
Yeah.
remember when I plugged it in when I got home, and I knew nothing about guitar, so I just strummed it. And I remember looking at my dad, and I said, "Oh, that's rock and roll." The sound was rock and roll, and my dad's just looking at me like, "Okay." And I actually took some lessons a few months after that because I just kept trying to just figure something out. So my
Yeah.
was like, okay, well, we can put you in lessons. And I'm like, okay, great. So I took only lessons for a few months because with my parents' schedule, it was hard for them to pick me up, take me to the classes and stuff.
Yeah.
So it was just a few months. So I learned just the bare minimum basics. And then when I couldn't go to school anymore, I just decided to just keep going, and I literally taught myself.
Wow. That's impressive. And the discipline that comes with teaching yourself and doing it to the quality that you did it. How much would you say you practiced every day?
Oh, it was every day, every single day. I would come home from school, do my homework, and just plug it in. That's all I did, all I kept doing. And then as I got a little bit older, I started getting into the. Am I still there?
You are.
Oh,
I was trying to play
oh
one of your others, but it's just taken a long time to load.
no,
There it is. I love this video. I mean, just incredible. Just incredible. Oh, still going. Just incredible. I mean, the discipline and practice that comes into doing something like this. And the other cool thing is these these videos. Like this is incredible. These music videos that you put together. How did you come up with that?
Well, a good friend of ours, his name is Joe Pine. I really don't remember how we actually met, but he would do music videos. That's what he did privately, and then we contacted him about, okay, we want to do this, or how much do you think this would run us? And he goes, oh, we could definitely do it. I really don't remember how much it was, but it was not cheap.
Yeah.
Uh, but he was, because we did a video back in 2003, and I remember we paid only $1,000 to do.
Oh, wow.
It was just $1,000, but it was great. It was a really great video. It turned out really well. We actually filmed it in the same studio where they filmed Fraggle Rock.
Fraggle Rock. You don't hear that anymore.
Yeah, we actually the same studio where they did the show, and around the studio there was all these Fraggle Rock puppets and stuff. And I was like, I remember this show. Oh my god, I was a little kid. And yeah, we ended up filming it there. And Bill Diamond, the creator of the puppets, we actually got to meet him, and it was his studio. So
Oh,
he
wow.
recorded thing, and yeah, our first music video was at the Frogger Rock Studios.
Oh my goodness. Oh, that's so funny. That's so like like I like I wouldn't even thought that's so random. Now, so your dad is so your dad as you started to get big, what did he say about all this?
Well, let's just say my parents weren't the biggest cheerleaders in my music career.
It happens, right? I hear you.
'Cause I remember when I was a kid and I would tell them, oh, I want to do this, I want to do that, I want to do, but it was, they were just like, okay, you're going to grow out of it, you
Yeah.
know, whatever. So they didn't really care much for, especially the music. They were like, you can't even understand what you're saying. You know, they were like, oh, that's my mother would be like, that's the devil's music. I'm like, no, it's not, Mom. We don't say nothing about the devil. Nothing. Well, it sounds like it. I'm like, it's a type of music. It has nothing to do with it. I promise. So they weren't really into it, but
We'll pause that for a second. I want to show this while it's going. Love it. Love it. Woo! Love it. I could just play it the whole time. So, yeah, I mean, you could kind of see though, looking as a maturer person now, looking back, you can kind of see where your mom was coming from.
oh yeah, I always
Like,
feel like,
I mean, I absolutely love it, but you could kind of see like you definitely feel like
yeah,
it could be in there. Like there's could be some evil message in there, even though.
and it's so funny because all the lyrics that I wrote was literally experiences through that I've experienced in my personal life, and I just turned it into songs. And so that's why when I would tell my mom, it has nothing to do with that. And she would never ask me what it was, what I would sing about. All she cared about that it's not devil music, is it? But yeah,
Sure, absolutely. And isn't it interesting that art does reflect what's going on in our lives? And I feel like, as much as I hate to say it, at least for me, maybe you can relate to it. Like we do the best work when things are not going well. Like as far as create, because you're like motivated to create, and
it's true. Like your best work is when you're at your work. And with the music, and it's funny because when I grew up listening to music, I listened to hair bands, Poison, Motley Crue, White Snake, stuff like that. So that I love that stuff. So I remember I was playing. Oh, and of course Metallica. That like my ultimate, growing up. So I remember I was, learning how to play, but I was like, but this isn't, and I always knew that this wasn't enough. Like I wanted to do something that was a little bit more, but didn't know that, death metal existed. I thought that the heaviest would be Metallica, and that's pretty much it. So then one day I was about maybe 15, 16. I went to my buddy's house. He invited me over to play guitar because he played guitar too. And he says, "Hey, listen, you could have this cassette. I don't like it. This is garbage. It's just screaming music." And I was like, "What is it?" The band from Florida called Obituary.
Okay.
And I'm like, "Okay, I'll take it home and check it out." When I put it in and I heard it, I was like, "This is it. This is exactly what I've been looking for, what I wanted to play." And then from that moment on, I got into death metal. Not a
Wow.
singer at that point yet. I was just playing guitar because I became a singer when I was around 17 by accident.
By accident. Well, you
Yes.
definitely have a great voice. So how did that happen by accident?
I was in a band called Immortal Possession when I was about 16, 17.
Oh, you
And
must have really scared your mom.
oh, yeah, she wasn't into it at all. Like,
Immortal Possession. I mean, I love it, but I can
Immortal
see
Possession.
if my child came home.
That was actually uh, my real experience in, because I was in a band before that when I was like 14, 15, called Meth. It was a high school band. Everyone was older than me. I was just a little kid,
Mm,
and knew that I played guitar, and they asked me to audition. And mind you, these guys are in their 20s, mid 20s,
wow.
and in their 30s, and I'm just a little kid.
Yeah.
But reputation was going around. Hey, he can play guitar very well. So the day that I went to audition, two older guys, and then here I am, and I feel a little intimidated. I'm like, wow, these guys are older. They're really good. So then when I plug in to play, I did whatever I was doing. And the singer of the band at that time said, okay, that's it. If you want the gig, you got it. And I'm like, just like that. So that was experience in a band. I was just a teenager, couldn't drive, nothing, with all these older guys. So my first show was in Staten Island, New York, at a place called the Rock Palace, which does not exist anymore, called the Rock Palace. Yeah. And that's where I lost my musical virginity on stage. I was just playing guitar. So I'm sorry, to get back about the singing thing. When I was in Immortal Possession, we were playing these songs, and there was a song that I had written called Intercorpse, and the singer at that time, which actually we're still friends to this day, he couldn't come to practice for whatever reason. He didn't come in, so we were just rehearsing, and the drummer said, "I cannot do the changes without the vocals.
Mhm.
Vic, just go in there and just do whatever." I'm like, okay. So I get on the microphone, I'm playing guitar, I'm doing the lyrics, not how the singer did. I did them my way. And when we were going through the song, kind of a similar situation, the drummer stops and he says, "You got to be our new singer." And I was like,
Wow.
I just play guitar. And that's how it happened. By him missing rehearsal, I got in there and I was the singer ever since. And that's what I was doing until I retired from music.
Wow. Well, talent meets opportunity, and
And
that's
I could do that. I just got in and just started, going onto the microphone, doing this stuff. And then
but,
after,
and that speaks to your mentality, and that's one of the reasons why I wanted you to come on, because you're such a role model for people, because people make excuses in life. I'm going to get more to that because I have more to talk about with you, but just, that's the biggest thing. They find a reason why, like a lot of people would have said, no, I can't do that, or make excuses, but to jump in and be able to improv through life, really, you wind up having these opportunities. Um so and look at where it's taken you, and I
I,
love that about you. I love that about you. It's just so exciting when I see all your stuff. So you met, did you meet Sting and Brian Adams and Rod Stewart? Did I read
I,
that right?
I did. I was in high school.
Like, I can't believe it. We were so like, I only went to like two concerts, and one was a Whitesnake concert in my life. And you like know who Whitesnake is, and you met Sting, who I absolutely, well, all of these. Oh, Brian Adams, Rod Stewart. Tell me.
Okay. that was a by chance story also. I remember I wanted to get a part-time job while I was in school. So I was walking in my with New Jersey, and I was walking in front of as a very historic theater where they do concerts, plays, and stuff. It's called the Ritz Theater. So I'm walking by, and when I would walk by, it's closed. But this day, when I walked by, it was open. So I walk in and I say, "Hey, I'm looking for a part-time job. Do you guys need any help?" And the owner happened to be there, and he says, "How old are you?" I was like, "I'm 7."
You. Oops, sorry.
And I was okay. And he says, "Yeah, we're actually filming a music video in the next 2 days, and I could use your help as cleaning up or whatever." I was like, and he says, "I'll pay you $100 for the 2 days." As a kid, I'm like, "Sure."
Of course. Hey.
So, so he says, "Be here at 5 o'clock in the morning tomorrow." I'm like, "Okay." So I got up early in the morning and I walked from where I live, which was like about maybe a 30-minute walk. I walked in wee hours of the morning. It was still nighttime. I walked to the theater. I get there, and he says, "Okay, start cleaning this up." And I had no idea yet what was going on. So doing the thing, I started hearing rumors. Hey, Brian Adams is going to be here. Sting he'll be here, and I'm like, what? So around 8 o'clock in the morning comes in, and who rolls in through the door in a limousine? Sting. And I'm like, oh my God, that's Sting. Then Brian Adams, and then Rod Stewart. So I got to meet these guys. I was with them all day. And in the music video that they did, it was called All for One. It was for the Three Musketeers movie. And there's a scene where they're all at a table and they're pouring wine. That wine I actually bought down the street in the corner. Yeah. Not of age, but I went and bought that wine, brought it back. So that wine I actually bought for like $6 up the street.
Things used to be easier. Well, I'm older than you, but things used to still be easier. Um, when when I was a kid too, you can get away with stuff.
Oh yeah, I used to buy cigarettes for my dad at the store, like at 10 years old.
Yeah,
Like
nobody cared.
a Winston for my dad. You're like, okay.
You can make up the worst ID in the world. It seemed to work back then.
Oh yeah.
You just make it in your
Yeah.
basement.
So that experience with those guys was great. Like Sting, we got to talk, and I helped him out, and Rod Stewart also. But Brian Adams was just the coolest. He was
Wow.
to earth, and I remember asking him because I would be the one get the lunches, and I would give them their sandwiches and stuff. And I gave him a sandwich, and I'm standing there just by the door getting ready to eat mine, and he's like, "Hey, how are you?" And we're just talking because we already introduced ourselves. And I'm literally sitting on the wall, and here comes Brian Adams sitting down next to me, and we're eating sandwiches together.
Wow.
And I remember asking him, "Do you get nervous doing this? Being in front of the camera and the music videos?" And he
Yeah.
says, "Nah, you get so used to it. It's like a walk in the park."
Wow.
Uh,
Wow.
And I
Do you get nervous?
no,
Did you? Yeah, when you were doing,
I
did you?
remember.
You did a lot of performances, probably. I'm sure.
Yeah, I guess with all the shows that we played, by the time we did our first music video, I mean, I couldn't wait. Couldn't wait getting in front of that camera. You
Right.
know, I was just so excited.
Is
But
that different than being in like a lot? I always find live performances more nerve wracking than like a video or a movie or things
oh,
like
absolutely, yeah. And it's funny because when I first started performing live, yes, I would get nervous, but it wasn't like to the point like, oh my god. It was more kind of like nervous, anxious.
excitement. I mean, I always tell people nerves are good. Like it means you care. I'm always worried if I don't feel anything. Like
Yeah,
I'm like, not sure I really want to be here because I feel nothing. So when I get it's excitement and of course nerves. You want to do a job, right?
yeah, yeah. It's
Um,
a great experience with being on stage.
I love it. I agree. It's just so much fun. So you made this transition. I have a question for you before I go into your acting. You have this Do you own this red car? It looks like I don't I was gonna try to show it, but I'm not as prepared as I should be. It's like a 1980 Ford or something.
Oh, a 74 Gran Torino.
Gran Torino, that's right, Gran Torino.
Yeah,
Um,
it's a replica of the Starsky and Hutch car from the TV show.
that's yours?
Yes.
Wow. Um, because I wasn't sure. I saw a lot of pictures of it. My dad has a show car, a '54 Buick, and he's won like a room full of trophies with this car. And he was thinking about using it for movies. So I've seen. So I was like, when I saw that car, I'm like, that's a show. Do you take it to shows and stuff?
I do as often as I can. I don't drive it often, but
Of course,
when
of course.
I do a lot of shows in Orlando with it. I just did a show in Ocala back in October that was really cool. It was a fundraiser for it was the veterans, and yeah, as often as I can, I do. I actually just got an email yesterday to do a show in February here in Florida, a sci-fi themed car show. And
Ooh.
I was like, okay, cool. As long as
Now,
I'm in, I'll do it.
I don't know if you're like my dad, like he does not want to put his car in movies unless he could sit in it because he doesn't want anyone messing it up.
I'm I'm not that bad, you know what my wife does not drive it, has never driven it.
Is that by her choice or yours?
Believe it or not, it's by her choice.
Oh, okay.
She was like, "No, I'm not going to be responsible for this."
I could understand that. Yeah. Like I could totally get that. Like I would never drive my dad's car. Like no way. Like I don't even want to sit in it because I do not want the my kids will sit in it, but I'm like, no, that's okay. That's okay.
You don't want
Um,
responsibility.
yeah, exactly. I don't want the responsibility. So you moved from lead singer, guitarist, all this cool stuff to acting. And this is your latest thing. I think well, probably not. But
Well, that's out now. Yes.
yeah, it takes a long time for projects to get from
Oh
the day we shoot to the day it comes out. It's like,
yeah, it does take a long time.
yeah. What I'll play this a little clip of this in a second, but I love the fact that you have done like cuz do you think you're like I'll ask you this first. Do you think you're like kind of a stereotype originally when you first started?
In the
Like
acting,
yeah, in acting. Yeah.
yeah, because the majority of the roles that I've gotten, I'm the bad guy. But
The
in this,
bad guy.
yeah, in
But
this year, I'm
you
a bad
played,
guy.
yeah, exactly. You got a comedy here that I thought was so interesting because first of all, the back and forth between the two of you is
Oh,
just so entertaining. Oh my goodness. I just can't even it's just so funny. It's just so funny. You and Anthony
oh,
Cipriani, is that how you say his name?
yeah, he was amazing to work with. Like, it was really hard to keep a straight face for either of us, because if the camera's on me and I'm looking at him, just his faces, I just want to die laughing, and vice versa. So when the camera's on him, the chemistry was great between both of us. It was awesome. He was a great guy to work with.
That you can tell, and that's so much fun. I love when I meet somebody that you just click with. Let's
Yeah,
look at a clip. Is this your first comedy?
this is my first comedy. Yeah,
Okay.
Been foreclosed on. I thought you said we had till the end of the month.
Until the 23rd. Yesterday.
Did you have her?
we did. We had her, but she got away.
Let me have this one.
Send me the details.
Come on.
Oh, you the mover?
It's me.
I don't officially have a place
You don't have a place to move.
yet.
Who's that decided?
So and this is the two of you here interacting, and it's just so entertaining. You guys have to watch this. And Nasia, is that
Na-
how you say her name?
Nasia, yeah.
Nasia, yeah. Very funny, very funny.
Oh, she was definitely awesome.
I love her sense of humor. It's just so great to see you guys interact, and you play this still. Well, I guess you're a little bit of a bad guy.
Yeah, I Ruben. He is the big boss. I'm basically with Anthony, which is Eddie in the movie. We are his muscle. So, like I like to say, maybe he was just trying to save money, so that's why he hired us because we're definitely not the sharpest tools in the shed. And, and I think that's one of the main reasons why, for me to do a comedy uh, in this one was actually pretty easy because the stuff that I interact with Anthony in the movie, it's like interacting with my kids. The farting in the car. And I was like,
Oh.
"What are you? How many times have I told you not to fart in the car?" And they're just, what? And then and with the food, like my wife, for instance, like she doesn't eat anything that's soggy sandwiches. So that scene where you're like, you can't eat that; it's soggy. So I just take my real life experiences,
Yeah,
my character, because I experienced that in real life, and it's actually pretty funny. So I
I
think that's
love
it
it.
flowed so well because I experienced that in real life.
And that's what makes it so relatable, because you cover topics that actually happen in real life, and then when you see the chemistry between the two of you on top of that, it just adds to it adds to the fun of it. How did you make the transition? Like it sounds like you said you retired from music.
I did.
So how did that come about? I mean, that's a big move.
Well, when I left the music biz, is because I did it for so many years, and we did way more than what we dreamed about. We did so much, but then the music industry just started changing. Um, we were actually doing way better outside of our state of New Jersey. Everywhere we went was really, really, and we had a lot of people go to shows. But every time we played home, it was just different. So I kind of got tired of the lack of support that was going on,
Mm,
and people were just more of doing everything online, buying stuff online, and not a lot of people were going to shows. And I wasn't interested in anymore the way I was because everything had changed. So, and I remember telling my drummer Jay, I was like, Jay, after the next couple of shows, I think I'm done. I don't. There's nothing more in it that I feel
gotcha.
I could do. And he kind of felt the same way, and he knew where I was coming from because he saw it too. And so our last show was March 14th of 2015. I'll never forget it. And that was it. It wasn't a bad show, but that was it. And then I figured, okay, I'm done. Let me just be normal, regular type of guy. And then a few years go by, and I was just feeling really depressed. Like I was really lost. Just didn't know where I was going, what I wanted to do. Yes, that I missed the music, but I didn't want to go back to music. But
Yeah.
I always loved movies and acting, and I always said I would like to be an actor one day, but I had no idea how to get into it or start it. So
Mm,
when we're doing our music videos, that's what really like lit the flame. Because the music videos are kind of like little mini movies, and that's the way I wanted for it to look. And then I remember telling my wife, literally, I was like, I think I'm going to try to get into acting, but I have no idea how to get into it. And she was supportive. She was like, okay, whatever you want to do. And a good friend of mine, his name is Chris Hensel. He actually was the Hazard. He played Jeb Stuart Duke, and I remember messaging him, and I didn't, because what I'll never do is ask, hey, can you hook me up? Can you help me? Can you do? That's not who I am.
yeah.
So I remember I messaged him and I said, what advice could you give me if I want to get into acting. And he said, give me a call. So I gave him a call. We started talking about it. He told me what to do. And about a year or two later, he calls me and he said, hey, I got this movie called The Salvage Yard Shine Boys, and I wrote a part for you. I was like, okay, awesome. And some more time went on, and we finally did it in March of last year. And
wow.
that was my first in front of the camera script, did acting thing that I did. And my character's name was Tiny. That was my name, Tiny.
And just how tall are you actually?
6'5".
Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay.
Yeah, so and I played a moonshiner. So that was a lot of fun. The movie's unfortunately not out just yet. They are trying to get it to the bigger movie studios stuff, but I did see it, and seeing my first performance, I was like, I think I could have done better than that. You know what I mean?
Of course. Well, yeah, I mean, I think that's how your first performance, you can't help the first performance but be like that.
Yeah, I was like, oh my God, I think I could have done that better. But
I'm
so
sure it was great though.
I did that, and then I started, I found out about Backstage. I found out about Casablancas, and I just started with that and doing auditions, and went to the school and there.
Are
And
you in New Jersey? Just side note, are you still in New Jersey?
no, I live in Florida.
That's what I thought. Okay. I
Area.
was gonna say we could do something together. You're my neighbor. You used to live in New Jersey, though.
Yeah, I was in Elizabeth, New Jersey. Hey, but that doesn't matter. I'll go anywhere.
That's true. That's true, and so will I. So tell us about Faithful Witness.
Faithful Witness. That was so much fun to do.
Let's play this. Sorry.
Maybe this should be the last time I see you.
Fine.
And I hope if you sit in here by yourself that you get murdered by a serial killer.
Can you tell us what's going on?
There's this man out there who, when they catch you, it's like, he's this predator and you're his prey.
Why do they call him Crimson?
Take a wild guess.
There's no way you can take all three of us.
You don't know where he went?
All right.
That was so much fun to do. That short film actually won quite a few awards already.
That's what I saw. That's amazing. Well, how long ago was this one?
It'll be a year in December.
Okay.
Yeah, we filmed that in Memphis.
Oh, cool. And where can people watch it?
It's on YouTube.
Oh, it is on YouTube.
Yep,
okay.
it's on YouTube, and you could go to their website, rabbitsfoot llc.com, I believe it is. Don't quote me on that, but you can definitely find it on YouTube. Faithful Witness in the middle. Yeah, that was so. I actually still have the outfit that I wore in that movie. They let me have it, which is awesome. And I just got a text from the director last week to reprise my role as Crimson the Killer again.
Oh, I love that.
So
I love that. You're gonna. That's the fun part about making a character is developing it, I think. So.
Oh yeah, it was so much fun because I grew up in the '80s horror. Friday the 13th, Halloween. So one of my biggest dreams was to just play a serial killer, and to be able to play it twice. I mean, that's really cool.
Yeah, now you know why these actors. Well, some of them sometimes they change the actor. The actor doesn't want to do it, but the ones that do it over and over again, I don't know why you wouldn't want to.
Yeah.
Who knows? But I find it so much fun. I have a character that I have been repeating, Megan Florentino, and I feel like it just gets more and more exciting and more interesting.
Mm-hmm.
You get more backstory, get more everything. So then, and that's why, and then that's when you look back and you go, oh, that first one could have been better. But there's no way to tell. there's no way to foresee that. And now when you when I watch other things where it's like you watch the beginning, it's like, oh, they probably do the same thing. It's like that first season was good, but there were some things missing. They didn't have the information yet.
Yeah, like like my character Crimson, I have no idea what made him go berserk, but I'm sure in the next. Well,
And you want to know, right? And you want to you probably are like me. You want to like use that in your performance.
oh yeah, absolutely. As far as I know, as far what I was learned of that character is, got to get that one girl who saw him dispose of body. That's all I know. But I'm pretty sure there's got to be something more twisted in that guy's head.
And that's going to be so much fun. And that's exactly what I did with my character. I was like, we need a backstory. So we're in the process of filming a feature, a four-part that can be also a feature. And so backstory is developing.
Oh, that's cool.
Fun. So you've done actions, thrillers, comedy, drama, horror. There's so many things that you guys have to look out for. Victor Gonzalez, just amazing. What would you tell somebody that maybe they're not getting the roles that they want, or they're just starting out in this business? Some advice for our newbies out there.
Don't stop. And it doesn't matter if you don't get any emails, you'll always get that first one. Keep going. And don't let that discourage you, because the more you put out there for jobs, the more chances you get to get a call. And that's what I did. When I first started out, I sent out about 500 jobs, and I got nothing. And then after that, they just started coming in. But I just, until this day, every day.
I love it. Yeah. And that's, I think, the thing that people don't realize, that you got to just keep applying and keep practice and keep working on your craft and keep, working on everything. But yeah, I love that. Well, Victor Gonzalez, I'm so honored to have this time with you. Thank you so much. Until next time, we'll do this again.
Absolutely. And if you ever need a serial killer, I'm your man.
We got to do Serial Killers Unite. We got to do something together.
Oh.
Bye, guys.